Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atah Kenopanishadaha Talavakara Upanishadaha Shanti Pataha. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vakpranach Sakshuhu Shrotram Matau Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranamistu Tadatmani Nirate Ya Upanishadsu Dharmaha Te mai santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends once again to this exhilarating journey of Kenopanishad. Kenopanishad, you might have seen, I think as I have sent the document to you, as well as you know that alone as Brahman. That is what would have been mentioned. Just to understand what is that know alone, that is the Brahman, that alone is not described, it is an absolute. They have given us in a variety of ways to find out from our own experiences, from our own intuition, because this cannot be expressed by the words, and this cannot be expressed by any other means by which our body, mind and intellect can understand as we are understanding anything in this world. And that is why, because when this Upanishad starts, all the Upanishad starts, either they start with a question or they start with a paradox. Because if you see any of the Upanishad, it is not a straight statement like there is a God, let us approach God like this. You will not find any of these things. They are all straight away taking it. See, all these great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, all of them have reflected the entire scriptures. They propounded their respective philosophies. When they are propounding the respective philosophies, they have gone through three basic documents, three basic scriptures as a basis based on which they have tried to establish. They have brought out the philosophy from these three basic documents. There one is Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is a Brahma Sutra Bhasham. It is like a constitution. The constitution is the lucent lines of the nation's fate, whereas the Brahma Sutra is the lucent exposition of a truth reflected in the Vedas. The Vedas do have variety of chandas and a variety of mantras that has been established by, because it doesn't have any author. Aupurusheya. That is why it is great. No one has done it. Anyone has given it with authorship, it will be with an agenda. And it will be only with his conditionalities. It need not be necessarily the ultimate eternal truth finally to be imparted. So when the Vedas have done, it was done by so many rishis, so many great acharyas who have all reflected themselves in total sort of an unselfish mode. There is no self without taking out all the conditionalities of the self. There is no taint of the selfishness in any of the statements of Vedas. The Vedas are nothing but the whisper from the winds, the vibration from the cosmos, and the pure truth that must have come from this world. Why we are talking about this absolute concept? Why is it scientific? Or is it got any basis by which our people have done and all? This is what happens once you go through this world and experience. For instance, let us take, there is a very great book, but hardly you will be able to read and complete that book. Recently it has come. It is about 20-25 years old. It is the book called Brief History of Time. The Brief History of Time is by Stephen Hawking. The Stephen Hawking, what did he does it? How the world originates, how the world could expand, how the Big Bang could take place, how the black hole could be formed. These are all the things he did it in 1962-63, and of course till his recently passed away, till his last breath he did it. And finally, for information, this year the Nobel laureate Penrose, who got it, he worked with Stephen Hawking in those days. And at that time itself, he was afflicted with the motor neuron disease. So when he was going through, why he was going through? He is a scientist. He was going through because finally, ultimately, the science and the spiritual knowledge or finally your own knowledge, the self-knowledge which you want to acquire, all leads to find out what is your source of origin, what is the purpose for which you are in, what is that you are going to achieve. It is not only a pure spiritual journey by people who are reading Vedas and other things. It is for the evolved mind. In fact, Stephen Hawking was considered to be the theoretical physicist next only after Einstein. And what was he? Right from his 23rd, 24th year, he had the motor neuron disease. He was confined to wheelchair. When we are talking about, the first mantra, when it says, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha, when he says, because how all your organs are working, who makes it work? For Stephen Hawking, none of them were working. His head was there, eyes were there, he was not able to speak. He was having speech synthesizer through which he could communicate and he could convey his ideas. All his theses, most of the theses, what he has written in later days and all his great works, or only through synthesis. He could do that. How we could do that? When all is whereas we have got all the organs intact. We have got eyes, we have got ears, we have got legs, we have got jnanendriyas, all the 5 jnanendriyas, which is giving shabda, smell, sparisa, as well as hearing, because all those things, and we are able to think and reflect over jnanendriyas. All those things are there. But whereas he has been deactivated, most of these organs are deactivated. When we have first seen through this first kanda, who is activating your mouth? Shrotrasya Shrotram, Vachasya Vacham, Manaso Manoha. Because who is, because what these organs are doing is not, what you are realizing as the power. What is activating this organ, they are the power. Finally, we are getting into that organ which is going into the power. The same power was enabling Stephen Hawking to go through the entire, the primordial subject on how the origin of the world, how the Big Bang must have taken place, how the black hole will have formed, what is the purpose of the entire universe, is it still expanding, will there be an end, will there be an end of the universe, if it is so, what is it? Finally, taking that into account, our great Upanishad has explored in a different spiritual context. The same thing has been done. When you are doing it with total devotion, it could nothing be the great work done by Stephen Hawking. Therefore, nothing different from what is happening in the world, and that they have explored because they were in that, they didn't bother about what is happening in the day-to-day world, how they have to live in this world. They have transcended beyond the terrestrial experience. When you transcend beyond the terrestrial experience, what it will be more to be experienced than to be expressed. A physical experience, it is easy for us to express. That too, to some extent, what we have felt. The other person may not be able to understand the total port of it. The language has got the limitations. Therefore, you will find whenever philosophy is being discussed, the linguistics is integral part of it. The language is the one which is communicating even the philosophical ideas. But when you are having something other than the physical, your intellectual experience, intellectually you felt something so good about it. Maybe to the extent possible you will try to convey it in the words. Whether other person is able to understand or not, we don't know. Unless he is in the same frequency, he has gone through the same discipline what you have gone through. He has been rigorously trained in this process in which you have also gone through, you will not be able to get. That is how, when the Upanishad has taken place, the Guru and Shishya has also gone through the rigorous process. The Guru has enabled him to go through that rigorous process. And because of that only, they are able to get that intuitive knowledge which has been conveyed only through vibrations, partly through the words. The words enable you to get the concept. The intuition enables you to reflect, understand and get the port of final knowledge into you. That is what Jnana they call it. All these great acharyas, when they have propounded like that. That is why, you will not find any of their personal experiences coming in the way of it. And it is not a bed of roses for all of them. All of them have, let us remember one thing, it is not that they had a very, very serene and calm atmosphere, they could go there and reflect, whereas we don't have all these things. It is not like that. It is, they have also to undergo all the troubles which we are undergoing in this world. So, in fact, Shankar, I will take a minute off. Sundar has come to invite us. I will just meet him. I will take 2 minutes off. Would you oh, yeah. Okay. 1 minute. Just I will take 2 minutes off. Yes, friends, we will continue our journey in this, because basically what we were talking was, when who is giving the power to these all the organs? Because one thing we will have to understand, when we see anything, we don't see anything. Only the light is falling on the object, that is being reflected by the lens in your eyes, and it is being taken to the mind process it and gives it to the intellect, and the intellect finally tells, based on the knowledge what you have, knowledge bank what you have, what we call chitta, that gives finally this is it, and this is what, this is an animal, this is our object, this is a known person, this is an unknown person, or it says. So is whatever we are hearing and all those things. Whereas a person like Stephen Hawking, who didn't have most of these faculties working, still he was able to do the great work. He was not bothered about, because for us, even a small discomfort in any of our organs, we take it and we give so much of focus onto that, we are lost into that. We are not able to do anything. What makes them to do? There are so many people who have done. For instance, Florence Nightingale, how she did a great service, and she had the physical infirmity. That means there is a power, even that organ, when you tune up, what we are praying is, tune up the organ to get the knowledge from this world, internalize it, and have it in the repository of your knowledge bank, the chitta, which is going to be there for time immemorial. It is going to be there for times to come. Maybe if you are going to take another body, several births, it's going to come. Because this body is only because the entire Atma knowledge is disembodied knowledge. Without body's attachment, whatever you are getting, assuming you are given an anesthesia for a surgery, and you are not because nothing affects you. Nothing, worldly things doesn't affect you. The doctor is able to cut, paste, do, stitch, everything he could do, and you don't know, finally when it happens, you come out. Then after sometimes when the effect of anesthesia goes, you feel the pain. During the period of anesthesia, you don't have any pain. That is what, lot of the present day experiences of some of the great acharyas, some of the great realized soul, both in, because in various places like Ramakrishna Mission, even Sivananda Ashram and all, they say whenever you find some sort of affliction, you find, some discomfort, they say you just give it up, just forget about it for a minute, reflect it on what is that, why it has happened, and maybe, you try to be spiritual in your own way. Suppose, you are a great Shiva Bhakta, you try to imagine in the Shiva mantras, what you are doing. If not anything else, some good thing which is reflecting you, which you can reflect. Not necessarily, these mantras are meant for manana trayate mantraha. Like Gayantam Trayate Gayatri. Gayantam Trayate Gayatri is when when they say you do 108 times or you do 1008 times, what they say like that. Once you do Gayatri appropriately, that takes the vibration, as we have seen, your Sushmana, Ida, Pingala Nadis, all the 24 vertebrates. Once it gets into that effulgent energy makes you to take away any discomfort in any part of the body. Why the discomfort comes? Because of tension. The tension of your muscles, or tension of your nerves, or tension of your circulation, whichever is there, that is causing. Because life, can't be without tension. You will have some, when you hear something, you react. Once you slowly reduce your propensity to react, then, you get into slowly blissful state. When you act, you will be tired. When you do something intentionally with a purpose, you will be tired. You want to study, a novel. After 10 pages, you feel tired. You may think of, having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And then after the tea comes, it will cause another discomfort. Your stomach will not all that be okay. You will not be able to concentrate. Like one after the other. It takes you into chain. So once you stop reacting to anything that is happening to you when you hear anything, that takes you to the mode of reflection. See, for instance, Stephen Hawking, he can't do anything because nothing was affecting him. No organ is going to be affected. But at the same time, the man must have undergone so much of a severe discomfort, which we don't know. He only would have known. Having been the Newton Chair of Lucasian Professor of Mathematics in Cambridge, he was the highest adorned professor in the world. It is only after Isaac Newton, he has said, he has come. When he has propounded all these theories, what he has in fact differed with Newton. See, the life is once you start conforming to someone, say with a reflection happens when you are able to hear something, listen something, read something and try to reflect and then assimilate. But if you blindly, someone says, he has a realized soul, he has said that, why can't we follow that? Because he has already gone through, he has said that, let me follow in the sense, then what you are doing, you are trying to be having a sort of a propensity of a disapplication of mind. Once you are not able to disapply your mind, slowly your ability of the mind to apply goes off. If you see all the acharyas, be it Shankara Acharya, whether it is Ramanuja Acharya, whether it is Madhvacharya, they have all undergone Gurukula, but they have not conformed to whatever has been told by their gurus. They have thought by themselves. Govinda Bhagavatpada is the guru of Shankara Bhagavatpada. Whatever Govinda Bhagavatpada has said, it is totally, because it is there, he has taken it. But finally Shankara has given a new innovation, new thought, new psychological angle to the, philosophical angle to the entire thing. But whereas what we are doing, we are trying to conform. We are also asking our children to conform. What the teacher says, listen to that. If the children has got some bright new idea, we are stopping it. That is how we are killing the function of the left side of the brain. The left side of the brain works only when you are able to reflect and put up your own ideas. You don't have to conform. In fact, we have been told manage means, don't follow the rules. Break the rules. If you are able to break the rules, you will be able to be a good manager. But in an organization, when you break the rules, you will be considered to be iconoclast. This fellow is something doing out of his own. But if you see the great achievers, the great one who has brought about the changes to their organization, they have all reflected. For instance, you take our own money order form. Till 1990, no one changed the money order form. If you see, most of us must have experienced, the current generation might not have seen. If you take a money order form and fill up, you will get confused. One page it would have been written payee, another one is receiver and sender. And you don't know who is payee, who is sender, you will confuse both sides. Finally, Rajiv Gandhi took some initiative. What is this form? You better change that. He said, likewise, we are happy to live with whatever is comfortable, which is enabling not to apply our mind. We are happy if we are not to apply our mind. Now that gives you, you can be in the worldly things, you can have your cushy life, because someone else is doing your job. If Upanishad says, unless you come to yourself, no, you don't have to go anywhere. Guru is what? You are having a series of experiences every day. And every experience is not that what happens to you. What you learn from is the experience or the knowledge which you have to give. The experience is a guru to you. Every experience is a guru to you. You don't have to go after a guru seeking after, let him say and you just say whatever he says I will follow, in the sense you have already given up your ability to learn from your experience, which God has given to you. The God has ordained in you. You are such a divine soul. You are to be illumined, you are capable of being illumined, and you can be illuminating so many people in this world. You are giving up the entire thing. Why you are giving up your ability? You learn from it, face it. That is why when you are having the ability to face, you will be fearless, as we have seen last this point. When you are coming into the Upanishad, one Acharya used to say, when you come to Upanishad, you have got nothing to gain. You will be validating your experience. You have got everything to lose. What you hold closer to your heart, you have got to lose. The comfort, whatever you are seeking, you will have to lose that. And all your, we will have our own angularities, we will have to lose that. We will have our own idiosyncrasies, we will have to lose that. And we will have to give up our conditionalities, raga, dvesha, kama, moha, because likes, dislike, everything we will be losing it. Because we will be understanding it is the same enlivening power is there in everyone else. Once it is there, what is that? And you have got ordained duty to reflect and learn from your experience. Because that is how you will be able to go to your center of gravity, the center that is core, which holds you. Because you are in the periphery. When you are in the world, you are going by the peripheries. You are not getting into the core of it. The core is the entire purpose of the life is to understand the core. Once you understand the core, the periphery will not affect you. Whether the experience is what may happen, it may be a miserable experience, but you will not become miserable. Happier experience, you will not become happier. For instance, when we go do it, everything with a purpose in this world, we do it for a good, we write an exam, we go for a competitive exam, we get selected, we go for a job. At that time, that is the goal. We do it, and then what do you think? Once you get it, cushy job, because that is what cushy job. Everything and all. One job is no longer cushy unless you apply yourself, unless you learn yourself. Otherwise, if it becomes a drudgery, you will become not only useless in your own eyes, you will become useless in everyone else's eyes. And not only that, the very purpose of this life will be lost. That is why the Upanishad continuously tell, don't give up. Kurvate karmani prite sajjanaha. Whatever job you will have to do, you are continuously do. Be active and don't be reactive. Go about it. Whatever happens, don't react to that. Yes, some good will happen, something good will not happen, something will not happen as expected, something will happen as expected. Forget about it. But your job is going about doing it as per the best intentions, as per the best intuition you get at that point of time. There is nothing to see back. This is exactly what they said. If you continuously do, you do that, then whatever skill and energy what you get to do and what is the purpose you are able to do it, you understand that you will have to understand yourself and get the divine grace continuously to do the things. Because when you are doing it with the divine grace, it is not only going to be beneficial to you, but beneficial to everyone else. It may appear at some point of time, you are doing it, which is not going to be useful. But when you do it with a good intention, you can see that it is bound to be succeeding and people will be talking about everything. Because we are remembering a lot of our leaders after they are gone. When they are there, because they have got the opposition, everyone has sort of blamed them and all. You take the case of same acharyas. For instance, Shankaracharya, when his mother passed away, the local, these religious Brahmins and all, they said, you can't do the samskara of your mother because you have already become a sannyasi. When you are doing a sannyasi, you are giving tyaga. Tyaga in the sense, you are already you are doing your own shraddha. You are giving up your life. So you can't do that and all. Shankara said, no, there is absolutely, there is a scriptural evidence is there, I will do it. They didn't allow him. What did he do? Finally, he was having a lot of banana trees, in his house, in the backyard. He cut that banana tree. The banana tree, you cannot put even a spark onto that. It is so wet. Shankara being Shankara, he could use the banana stems to finally do samskara of his mother. At that point of time, he wrote something called a Matru Panchakam. 5 exquisite stanzas what he wrote, extolling the sort of a divine, his mother is divine, because he himself is divine, his mother is divine. Everyone's mother is divine. Once you have the divinity in you, you will see the divinity in everyone else. That is how Vivekananda could see divinity in Nivedita. The sister Nivedita, initially she proposed Vivekananda, why are you being running around? I will also be helpful, let us go together, we can't I am proposing to you. He said, I am not able to see I am able to see only a divine mother in you. I am not able to see anyone else. See, now all of them did not have a bed of roses. They have got through their own. Like Madhvacharya, when he went for a Badri, he had to cross one side of the Ganges to other side with his Sishyas. But this side was ruled by a Hindu king. The other side was ruled by a Muslim king. When he went there, there's some Khilji, they say he was the one. When he went there, all these soldiers caught him, and how did you come without permission? They took him to the king. Normally the punishment in those days was very severe. And when he could see, in those days, one great thing that we will have to understand, all these acharyas, they were not only that, they were doing only their, religious practices, they had such a sort of a vast mental strength. They could know everything. And Shankara could speak in so many languages, which is not recorded. But at least, he could not have traveled from here to Kashmir in 32 years. He lived only for 32 years. Whereas during Madhva's time, it is said, this entire, Persian was the sine qua non, because everyone used to know Persian at that point of time. I didn't realize till such time I went to UP. So many enlightened souls are there. When I was living in Allahabad, my landlord, because who is a person who was working in AG's office, he know Persian, Urdu, Bengali, Hindi, and a beautiful, fantastic knowledge of English. He has read Rabindranath Tagore's work in Bengali. He has read the Persian. He has also read the Urdu of Ghalib, everything and all, because they had so much of knowledge, so much of vast knowledge. I was just stunned, because in South we think with a little knowledge, we are the one, who are so embodiment of every knowledge. Once you go there, you find out what little species you are. You are nowhere, in the circumference, in which you can't approach them. They were so knowledgeable. So with such a knowledge, because Madhvacharya is supposed to have known at that time the Persian, he answered him in Persian. And Persian, he quoted one great Upanishadic verse in Sanskrit, Yesham Ekam Vishwadipaha, Yesham Vishwapradipaha. See, Ekam Vishwadipaha, that Rigveda says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuta Vadanti. Only one truth. Everyone expounds in different way. Zardrushtra says in a way which Parsis follow, and so is Islam or the Jesus Christ in the Old Testament or New Testament. Everything they say, but they have taken it in their own means. Ours is also like that. That's what the Ekam Vishwadipaha, that is only one person. We are all Yesham Vishwapradipaha. We are all the children of one God. He said he got, with such a great, you brought out such a great principle, and he offered him afterwards a place, if you want, you can have your own establishment and all. Then he said, no, we will have to go to Badri. You allow us to go to Badri, and he enable them to go to Badri. That is how, his own biography, the Madhva Vijaya says. Likewise, Ramanuja was also, because Ramanuja thought, because his wife would not serve a person who is not religious. Whereas, Tirukkachi Nambigal in Kanchipuram, he doesn't have any scriptural knowledge, no Vedas. He doesn't know no Upanishad. He has not read anything. He has done only one thing. He knows the God is with him and he will have to do the service of the God. He was only cleaning the Varadaraja Perumal temple and cleaning the floor, cleaning this thing. But then he could, in solitary sort of a discussion with the God, which Ramanuja could understand. The God didn't talk to anyone who is the great Pandits of Veda and all. He was talking to the Tirukkachi Nambigal. Tirukkachi Nambigal was considered to be a guru by Ramanuja. See, I might have done so many things. I might have done bhashyas. Finally, the one with the total devotion, what? You have surrendered yourself. Surrendering is without any conditionalities, without any doubts. I have heard so-and-so has said like that. I have heard, this is happening, but how this man, how can he do that? Can he go and touch the God, He is not eligible to touch the God. Nothing. Once you go with a pure heart, Parishuddha Bhakti, there is nothing that is impossible. Likewise, all of them had, and Ramanuja was not considered to be an eligible guru, by all the other people. Because there was a sort of a jealousy going on. This man is, he is getting popularity. In fact, he went and converted most of the people who said only Om Namo Narayana. Then he said, you have become a Vaishnava. That's it. In Tirukostiyur, there is a place in Tirupattur district. He went at the top of the temple and called everyone. If you say once Om Namo Narayana, okay, you become, it's not that. Whoever is there, you become a Vaishnava and you can continue your practice. That is how, they brought a reform. The reformist was there. Finally, it is all. One thing we have to understand, to be religious is not spiritual. A spiritual person can also be religious. If a religious person can't be spiritual, he has not realized what is the ultimate reality. The two are, because by doing the religious practices, conforming to the procedures and processes, one cannot really attain. They are only means. They are all required. Required in the sense when you are in the day-to-day life, when you are dealing with the whole world in the reality of the situation, when you have to live in this world, that is required. But once you have assimilated, yes, because these are all the means, I have got it. So I am not able, I have given up my ability to react. I am totally devoted. Once I give every process, every act as my offering to the Almighty. When you are doing anything, you are writing a letter or you are making a coffee. Say, make a coffee and say Krishna Arpana, says Krishna will not take it. You take it. But at least you have a bhava, because that's why your sharing will come. What is this world? Finally, if you have enough, you have it. If you have more than enough, you share it. That is what Isavarsha Upanishad, first mantra we said. That Kasya Svidhanam, Magradat Kasya Svidhanam. We will not covet anyone's property. We will not covet anyone's asset. And we will not hold on to what we have. We will hold on to the extent what is required, and we will hold on our good qualities, our offerings, so that takes you. The world is His. He has ordained that to be here. The time He has given us, we will be here and then we will go. This is what the first two contrasts said. And when we got to the great, the Mahavakya, Atmana Vindate Viryam Vidyaya Vindate Amurtam. Atmana Vindate Viryam in the sense by Atma Prayatna. Whatever Atma is because we are being activated by the Atma, and the enlivening power is with us. Tava Samipe Vartate, what is it? He is continuously giving you the grace. We are trying to have His grace act, and finally we get the strength. When we get the strength, the mental strength in the sense that you will not be reacting. You will only be pleasant. The house, everyone should be surprised once you go from the session. What is that? He is unassailed. He is like that. Even if you say some insulting words, he is not taking it seriously. That means this is what it is. No words are, because after all, if the same enlivening power is there, your enlivening power is in you, he is insulting you, he is insulting his own enlivening power. You are only laughing at what is that and all. This is Upanishad taste, so that the great people who have faced very difficult circumstances. Shankar must be knowing there are a lot of great agreements done by the governments, the intergovernment agreements and all. And those great achievements, when we have got a successful agreements, it are all because these faculties come. Because you don't have to really go by the Upanishad. The Upanishad, the concepts have come into you. You had the grace of the God. That is how you were able to, you just don't get react, because you just go about discussing, what is the final purpose. You may lose 1 or 2 battles here, but finally you will have to win the war. That is the purpose. The life is like that. There could be 1 or 2 instances, which may be, you will think, it is taking you back. Nothing is taking you back. Everything is moving you forward. This is exactly, once this power comes, how it happens is grace is always there. That awareness once it comes, then no act will be, if you do it as an act, it will be tired. Once you do it as an offering, you will be inspired to do more act. There will be no tiredness in your life. You will be active, because the Turiya one state, which they say in philosophy, in Advaita and all other things, it is a perpetual bliss. The perpetual bliss is when you continue to do. The life is a travel, it is not a destination. You will have to enjoy the travel. If you travel from Grand Trunk from Delhi to Chennai, enjoy everything. You have got Madhya Pradesh, so many forest and faunas. You come Maharashtra, little dry areas, little plantations. You come to Andhra, all full of activities. And then you come to Chennai, docile and dormant. Come to that, you enjoy everything and all. It is like this. You will have to enjoy every part of the journey. Whatever be the journey. We had the professional life, that was a journey. Our infancy was there, our journey. We had education, because the college days are still being remembered by all of us, some of the finest moments. We can regurgitate, in our time and all, because that is again an experience. Enjoy the experience without being influenced by those experiences. Even some good has happened, don't get influenced by that. Then you will be looking for similar thing. It is not that. It happened at that point of time. Yes, you are moving around. Your travel is going on. Now, before March, you were able to travel everywhere. You are going about seeing the places and doing it. Now you are confined to the house. Make it a comfortable place for you and for others to live. And you have got a great purpose. Everywhere you have got a great purpose. This is all the more purpose. Now since you are in one place, you are able to concentrate on whatever is your interest, which you couldn't otherwise do because of your activities. Be it, if you want to write, write. If you want to read, read. If you want to have a portrait drawing, if you have the ability, do it. If you can play a music, do it. Everything. Finally, when you do all those things, why musicians are very happy souls? That 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, when they are giving the performance, they are not in this world. They are in their own world. That entire, because only the Shruti, the Tampura, with the gives, that is the only whole. That is, you can see, that is the awareness of God. You have that God with you and then you go into the bliss. And He is also sharing the bliss with others who are listeners. And who are, because initiated, uninitiated, those who have got interest, everyone feel happy in their own way. And one thing, we should not try to replicate someone's experience. This is what Dr. Radhakrishnan has very clearly said. If there are 100 million Indians, there are 100 million ways of attaining God. Each one of us will have our own way of attaining the God. You don't have to follow me, I don't have to follow you. We have assimilated, we have found our mooring, the spiritual mooring that will take us through. That is what finally, the Upanishadic knowledge finally has to bring a change in us. And you will be not, because it is only validating your experiences and take you out of the experiences and focus you towards the knowledge you have acquired through experiences over the period of time, like a garland. That is finally a repository of Chitta, and it becomes a Vasana. Maybe suppose we are all taking the next birth and all, if we have got interest in finance, or if you have got interest in engineering, if you have excelled and we have done that, all this Chitta will be there. Even if your father, as a doctor, and you will try to become engineer, when it is there, because that Vasana is already there. That is how we find, because the doctor's son becomes something else, and engineer's son becomes something else, and architect's son becomes something else, and these are all, because the Vasanas and the personal interest. That is why, in the Western world, they have allowed the children to be independent, once they are growth, they allow them to develop in their own way. That is why, whereas we are trying to ask our children to conform. That takes away the creativity and the development of the children. This is exactly, the first two mantras which came. The greatest takeaway we call it, Atmana Vindyate Viryam, Vidya Vindyate Amurtam. Now we are going to slowly slip into the Kanda number 3, which is going to give us a wonderful story involving the Devas and Devatas and all. It is like that. What happens is, whenever we achieve anything, we say, assuming, we win a big, something, something which has been bugging us, for 60 years, finally we found a solution. We are really happy. The happiness comes. And when you do that, you have to understand one thing. Now the grace of the God has come to you. The grace is there. You look forward. Finally, He gets it done. See, that is why, the Ganesha Suktam, there is one sloka is there which is recited by all of us, irrespective of the fact. Including the Vaishnavas, they do it as a Vishwaksena, but otherwise it is recited by all of us. Nishusita Ganapate Ganeshutvam Ahuhu. You come. Ahuhu Vipratamam Kavinam. Vipratamam Kavinam. We in the sense of the highly knowledgeable, Vidvatva. Vipra in the sense when Brahmins are called Vipra, you are supposed to have the knowledge, Vidvatva. Vipratamam Kavinam. Kavi in the sense the highest evolved, Kovidaha. You have got attained the highest knowledge. And when through Ganesha you invoke whoever is your Ishta Devata, may it if it is Kanda, if Shiva or whoever it is there, Tirupati Balaji or anyone, Guru Ayurappan, whoever. Pranamam Kavinam Narade Tutkriyate Kinchanare Mahamargam Mahavam Achamati. When you do the puja, you say, you come, you take, you be taking your seat place, you get the puja done by me for you. And you finally do it without any vignam. You get it done by yourself. I am only doing it. I am an agent. You are only enlivening me to do that. Once that bhava comes, whatever achievement, whatever we have done it is His grace. And whenever you get some untoward or some difficult situation, you also accept He has given it to you with a purpose. You will always see, when you had a difficulty, after, after a few years, when you recollect, maybe after 10, 20 years, you will feel it is good that difficulty has come. Otherwise, you would not have had any particular change in attitude. That He would have done it with a purpose. Once you have that attitude, once you submit everything and all, you will not have. Once what this does, it takes away the ahankara, I. As long as the I am doing and I am achieving and I got it done, once that goes off, your action will be pristine, pure. Not only that, you will be excelling, you will be able to give the best. You don't have any conditionalities. See, when you are doing, you always think, I always try to do, some of your past experience will come. And past, you might not have done so well, and that will come. Because when you take, from in organization, it's possible you will be transferred from one position to another. When you go, you will find, what is that, it's all little new, we don't know how to go about. But once you go and find and apply yourself, involve yourself, you will be knowing that is nothing. In fact, you can do so many things, you can contribute so many things. It is not complete. Once you apply, and otherwise when you go with a sort of a revulsion, I think I have been posted, it is a sort of punishment posting. There is nothing called punishment posting. And everything is for your good. You take it, and I think, you can really grow, and people have some, I think, though our T.N. Session was different, he has been transferred more than 82 times, in a period of 12 years, it seems. That is something, and there are records are being created now. Now it is happening, it is like that. We will have to take that. This is the Kanda which stays, you always think whenever something you are able to do great, it is not because of you alone. He is the enlivening power inside you, he gets it done. Once you get it done, that is where, finally you will have to take that awareness through that, you will be able to continue. Assuming that you don't have the awareness, what will happen is, whatever you could have consciously done perfectly in a normal time, even that you could not have done. Your ability to do a even simple thing goes off. And when we have to enjoy the life, the travel of life, travel every destination and every forthcoming destination and the past destination and the current one, you apply only yourself to the current, the very current, the word present. And in the present circumstances, it will pose certain tensions. Suppose, if, as we are seeing, because Shankar's brother is conducting the marriage of his son in this COVID days, he has got his own tension. But still, if the tension is there, but the tension is, once you take it with that bhava, and once you offer, there is a grace and you will be able to do it. You are focusing only on that, without any conditionalities, you will do that. You take any instrument, it is a violin or a veena, they have to have a proper tension. If you don't have the tension, the meat will not give you the sound, the sabda, the nada brahma will not come out of that. The body is like that. So when you are having that, when you are keeping the stability with the awareness, there is an enlivening power, then when you do it, what you are doing will be a pure, pristine, mellifluous music of life. Otherwise it will be unequal music. It will have to be equal music, taking you to the transcendental, ecstasy of life. The terrestrial to transcendental, it doesn't happen by going after this birth and going somewhere and all. It is happening very much in this life when we are living. When we are living, when it happens, when it happens, it will happen. It is a continuous sequence of events. That is how, because this particular episode describes one thing. We will just start the brief, of the episode. We will go into the details next week. This is, there is, the Devas and Asuras. These are two always, has been said in our mythology and in our scriptures and all. We have to understand there is always two things. A plus is there, a minus will also have to be there. If the happiness is there, there will have to be a misery. If the birth is there, there is also a if the birth is also there, there is also an end. It is, because Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam is that it is not, Maranam is a birth. It is not some cessation. The Atma is, one thing we will all understand, because in our Sanatana Dharma, four things are very, very clear, irrespective of Dvaita, Advaita or Vishishtadvaita and all. Atma is permanent. It doesn't have any cessation. It has taken this body in this life to experience, and God has given us an opportunity to experience, understand that the enlivening power is the only activating you to gain that knowledge. Once you do that, the I goes off, the self goes off. When I-ness goes off, you get the realization, and the realization, respective philosophies tell how you are getting the realization. That is the purpose of it. And then there is only one superpower, the Paramatma, Brahman. The life is to understand the Brahman. He is guiding you continuously through your life. Brahma Vidya is Not something you'll have to go to the forest and listen and after you are 60 or 65, when all your faculties fail to work or refusing to work. When you are active in this life, when all your faculties are working to the perfection, you do that. And after doing that, what you have to do is, once you have this, that you enjoy whatever you are doing, you give your karmas as offering, and whatever benefit incidentally when it comes, you take it as his prasada. Whatever good happens, whatever happiness comes, it is his prasada. Rest of it are all our offering to them. This is what we have to understand. This is exactly Devas and Asuras, the two they are the one, who are, whether they are existing and all, let us not get into that. They must have been existing, because that is how the Upanishads and scriptures are quoting. Even our mythology says there was a Ravana and all those things. When Devas and Asuras were given knowledge, God wanted to give them the equal knowledge. And some Vilochana was there. Virochana was Daitya, he is a Rakshasa. Indra was representing the Devas. They were called, both of them were given a knowledge. Knowledge, and normally knowledge in the sense it is a 12 years. Adhyatmic knowledge is always 12 years. If someone says I have done Veda Dhyana, nowadays they have shortened it because of the limitations and all. 2 years, 3 years do it. In the early days, when you will be done Upanayana when you are 5 years old and given into Shinto ashram. 12 years is your Adhyana. Once you do Dhyana, you are supposed to be fully having the scriptural knowledge. Why scriptural knowledge? Only through the scriptural knowledge and the bhakti, surrender. You have to surrender your bhava. Scriptural knowledge, surrender will give the realization of the Brahma. That is what in the famous sloka of Madhvacharya is Sadagamaika Vijneyam Samatita Ksharaksha. All the agama, when they give whatever knowledge, Sad Agama, whatever is there in all 4 Vedas, Upanishad, and the Mahabharata was considered to be a 5th Upanishad by Madhvacharya. Because Mahabharata is a great epic. People will say, it has got all things, which is happening in this world is happening there. Treachery is there, promiscuity is there, and they are all, because one after the other, dog-eat-dog world, you can see in Mahabharata. Every conceivable human misery has been portrayed in Mahabharata. In fact, one Western novelist, when he was asked to say, which is the best place, where you can, whether the Greek philosophy or other philosophy where you can get good thoughts, he said there is nothing that is not available in Mahabharata one can think of. If you want to be a novelist, read Mahabharata. You will get all negative ideas, positive ideas, other ideas and all. Because all those things have been brought, because the life is full of positives and negatives. But finally, when you reflect, when the journey is going, that is how finally in the Bhagavad Gita comes out of the Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita comes after having everything, going through all these things, all these experiences. One has accepted and learned from that. Finally, the Bhagavad Gita emerges as the pinnacle of wisdom there. In fact, because the Vishnu Sahasranama was also recited by our Bhishmacharya when he was on the bed of auras. Because he wanted to give the Brihat Upanishad. The Brihat, because that is a great Upanishad. The Brihat, the Sutra, it is a Rigveda, it's made of so many 10,000, lakh of things are there. He condensed it into 1,000. He recited it to Yudhishthira. That is how when they say Vishnu Sahasranama, when you recite, all your Pingala, Ida and Sushmana nadis get effulged. It gives you the highest pinnacle of wisdom and bliss. And it takes away, whatever you have. Because whenever you have some small discomfort in the body or even discomfort in the mind, why they say you recite, Margali, this is the month of Margali, Tei is said to come. They say every day you recite Vishnu Sahasranam. The very purpose is this is the month which is auspicious as well. Once you recite it, during that particular 20 minutes or 25 minutes or half an hour, depending upon your capacity, when you do it with full concentration, you will forget all the bodily ailments, your mental ailments or your wavering thoughts, everything will go off. And the Sanskrit in the words are put, it's not only Vishnu Nama. Every Nama has, if you Vishnu Sahasranamam, if someone has to give an exposition, it will take 1000 days because each Nama has got so much of significance. It is not a simple name only. The name, how it has come is nothing but finally it gets into the human realization concept only. How, your experience you have to internalize, how he is enabling you. That is what it comes. Aprameya, he says. Aprameya in the sense, which is not unknown, but at the same time, he is helping you to do everything in this world. How is it? Because without you aware, when you are sleeping, you may not be aware. You will be away from the entire experiences. But he is guiding you. When you get up fresh in the morning, and he is there to guide you through the day. But once you reflect, you don't have to do meditation and all those, you don't have to do bodily, the gyrations and all. You mentally, I think you give 10 few minutes, you just give it, the sort of a reflection of your highest thought. That takes you to the, that's what it comes. The entire thing has taken place. So in this context only, these Asuras and Devas, when they were given, God wanted to give them equal opportunity to them. Both of them were asked. The 12 years Adhyayana was over. The Virochana, he asked one question. He is a Rakshasa. He is representing Rakshasa. He asked one question to Guru. Brahma is supposed to be the Guru. He asked him, because how am I to realize you? He said, you go and see in the water. You will be able to see yourself. So he went and saw in the water, his image was there. He said, yes, I have realized, I have seen myself, I have realized myself. He has seen only image. He has not the qualitative, the qualia in your mind. He has not seen his chitta. Realize yourself, see yourself in the sense you will have to understand the inward journey. Your eyes can't see inside. Your ears can't go and hear what is happening. Then it will be problematic, because you will be listening to the sounds of the blood vessels going, it will be like, I don't know whether you have seen a movie called Fantastic Voyage. In the 60s it came. A small army general, who is a very important army general, he has some clot in the mind, in the brain in those days, that is 60s. The technology was not so advanced. So it was imaginary thing. It was done by the Paramount, Warner Brothers, what they did. They had a story and it was a very beautiful scientific story. It is happening. It may be happening nowadays. See, now they sort of shrink 2 surgeons and 1 nurse into a small capsule and with all the equipments and all. So they do a particular process of radiation, make them into capsule, inject into the veins of that general. When they go into the general, your white cells, they always fight anything new come into this. It fights that entire, that small equipment which carries them. It's a small boat type of a contraption. It goes into, it fights, it takes it and it asks it tries to kill it. These fellows are fully, they are going breathless. And somehow they manage to go the area where there is a less pressure. And finally they manage to navigate to get to the brain. Brain also doesn't allow them. It has got, hypothalamus has got all the memories. It doesn't allow, which is not used to. It sends signal to the blood to go little fast and evacuate this entire thing and all. Despite that, they somehow manage to get accomplished and finally they are brought out. That is a very few. If you happen to see YouTube, that movie is there, 60s movies, it may be black and white or little color and all. You see that it is a height of human imagination. It is what it happens. It goes there and finally they come. It is like a fantastic voyage. When it goes and finally it does and it comes out, then we know that. That is how, when you can't see yourself, and if you see, if you have to imagine only fantastic voyage, how it has happened to your internals. If your ears are able to hear, your pressure of your body is 100 and, because 90 is there. The 90 will not be able to bear when you hear it actually that sound. So likewise, we can't see ourselves inside, but we can realize ourselves inside. And when you realize what is that your pineal gland, Ajna Chakra gets activated. When you get the Ajna Chakra gets activated, you get the vibrations. When you are, because you are not conditioned by anything. That is how great acharyas. If you go and see Mahaparival will tell what purpose you have come. How Mahaparival is able to tell. His pineal glands is so powerful, so effulged. He doesn't have any conditioning. He doesn't have any wants. He doesn't have any requirements. He is there as a guide. He was doing his duty and he was dispassionate. He has not outwardly showed any empathy or sympathy to anyone. Outwardly, he has been angry to anyone. Yes, he has just gone about this way. That is the final thing a human being can attain. So that pineal gland, when you get the vibration. See, when the earthquake comes, most of us, we will have to see the TV, whether the earthquake is likely to come. Even they can't predict it till such time it happens. But whereas the animals, They know when the tsunami comes and they know when the earthquake comes. Even during the last tsunami, lot of people have seen in Nagapattinam in the other as well as in Indonesia. Stories are written. They were able to get to the safer places because they are close to the earth. Their pineal gland is so powerful. They don't have any distraction like us. They have to eat whenever they are hungry. Whenever the bodily need is there, they have to satisfy. That's all. They don't have any other purpose. But we are a purposive animal. We have got purpose right from the morning to evening. So when we are carrying on the purpose, when you are effulged, slowly you give up to your purpose. You live as a being. When you are living as a being, your pineal gland will activate. That is what it happens. So the Indra, he said, he was very genuine like us. I was not able to realize anything. I am only trying and all. So the Brahma said, then you do another 12 years Adhyatma. So he had one doubt or another. He did courses of 9 times he did. 8 times he did it. 96 years, he was totally doing this because he wanted to know. He had the thirst. You have to have the thirst of knowledge. I have sort of given an anecdote earlier. When Vivekananda went and asked Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you are telling you are every day talking to Kali. Why can't you make Kali to talk to me one day? Can Kali don't talk to me? Ramakrishna said, definitely she will talk to you. Why not? In fact, you are a first soul, it will act you. But for that you will have to have thirst. He said, what type of a thirst? So Ramakrishna was going into the Dakshineswar, there is a Ganga is going by the side. He was going for the bath. He also, without answering anything, he pulled up Vivekananda, took him into the water, put his head into the water, as if, he is drowning. Vivekananda could not hold on more than a minute, more than a second. He came out, what is that you have done me, because I need some air, I have to breathe, otherwise. He said, this type of thirst you should have. It's not that, I want a thirst, it's not a fast food. In McDonald's, you go and get McCafe and take it. It's not that. You will have to have that thirst. That thirst is there, it will come to you. So Indra had that thirst. So 96 years he has undergone. After that, Brahma said, because you have got 8 times you have gone through, what is that, should I have to do anything? No, another 5 years you do be a brahmacharya. Because Indra is supposed to be a character, we know what it is. 5 years you have to do a brahmacharya. Dhamma, you do that. After that 101 years he had to do finally to get the realization of what is the Brahma Vidya. Whereas the Virochana after 12 years he thought, that is how the Devas are supposed to have got the bliss, grace of the God. By which they were, it's not Deva, is not separate entity, they have been born and given everything and all. They have to undergo everything like that. It is like that. That Devas and Asuras, they were always supposed to be vying for the earth, heaven, everything. They used to be fighting. In one of those fights, finally Devas got victory. Devas got victory because the enlivening power in all the Devas was Brahman. The Brahman was the enlivening power in all the Devas. The Devas got the victory, and after the victory, what happened? That is what we are going to see. Devas thought they have got the victory. They have forgotten, like us. I have done the marriage of my daughter, son. I have built 10 houses. I was in profession like this. I was this, that and all. What I happen to be there. Whatever is there happening in this world, nothing I can do. See, as we used to read one book, in this is Shankar must be remembering, then when John Harvey Jones was there. He was a very famous chairman of ICI UK in those days. He wrote a book called a management classic, which is called Making Things Happen. It is like that. When you see someone in your team, and if I think maybe love doesn't, you don't have to do love. Love happens. And when you have something, bliss, happiness happens. It has to happen. You can't do it. So once you have that bhava, once you have that, that is happening in this world, the happenings are happening. It is not happening to you. It is happening in your interaction with the world. Once you have that, then I think nothing can, no Upanishad is needed for you. You will become a great expert. You will write a Upanishad. Your Upanishad will be learned by all of us and we will be discussing that Upanishad. This is sort of, I am trying to give a hyperbolic, sort of a stint to this, because this is what finally the Upanishad takes us. Because what we are capable of, we are not known, it is not known to us. Like Hanuman was not knowing what he can do till Jambavan reminded him. Likewise, Upanishads reminds us, it is not that a simple living and going about and all. You are such a effulged soul, you are a divine soul, you are a illumined soul, and you have got to be divinity embodied. You have got to be divinity personified. You have got to be divinity living every moment. Once that is there, the world is a wonderful place to live, and you have to be living in this world. You can't give up this world. The world will be with you, the world will be what it is, but you will have to deal with the world. When you have to deal with the world, as things happen and it's not happening to you, that is the ultimate purpose of this Upanishadic knowledge. And this Devas, and after this victory, how the entire thing has been brought by the Brahman, the knowledge of Brahman to Devas that has been given to us. It is not to Devas, it is to us. Whatever has happened to Devas is happening to us. Whenever anything, because we all say, because people are envious of him, because he has achieved so many things. He is the richest man and all. It is okay, but what he has done, what is the effort he has taken? See, whatever rich, poor, happiness, whatever we are having, wealth and all, these are all purushartha. Let us not mistake it. It's not prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma enables you to go through this life, happening in this world, go through. But during this process, by using the gifts of God, when you are able to get the grace of God in every action of yours, you are able to do the skill and do the action in time. You live with the ways of the world as well as dispassionately. Let us take any example. Even the richest person, if he has to be worried about one failure, he will not be a richest person. He will have hundreds of failures. We talked about the Nobel laureate, in chemistry, when he has said, if there are 10 experiments, 9 experiments will fail and 1 experiment will be partly somewhat successful. You have to take that. And when you learn from that, don't become part of the failed experience. You will have to go with the world and learn it. That is Purushartha. Purushartha, when it comes, incidentally it comes. When the grace of the God comes, when you are able to use the gift of the God, which has been given here, you create. When you are creating, you can't see. Assuming once you create a wealth, it's not that you are going to enjoy yourself. When you create an industry, so many people are going to be employed. So many things are going to happen. And you will also be doing so many things, because when you are doing it with that purpose, you are not thinking, I have created all this wealth and 2 lakh people are enjoying. You are not going to think like that. Your goes elevated. You want to be, you want to establish other industries. You want to do that. It is not that finally, even if you are bequeathing to the family, all of them can't go enjoy everything and all. They will have to manage it. To manage, you need the grace of the God. The grace of the God is the one finally will give it to you. The Purushartha will happen depending upon the efforts we have taken in this world. Let us not mistake it, by prarabdha karma, one could be rich or one could be poor. You could continue to be poor even with all the things, you will be contented with that, if you are doing that, because the success is a measure of the world. Whereas your realization achievement is your own measure. If you go by your own measure, you will succeed. If you go by the measure of the world, you will be miserable. Why I should go by the measure of the world? That is, Purushartha comes depending upon the circumstances you are in and the conditions you are in, the opportunities you are in. You are able to, but you have come through all this life. You savor it. You have got a wonderful journey so far. You are going to have a still wonderful journey, blissful journey. Let us undertake it. Things will happen. Let it happen. I am not going to be affected. This is going to be finally the meaning and the understanding that will be coming from this third kanda. With this, I will try to stop here and look forward to the comments, questions or clarifications or critics, anything, I would like to listen. Shankar, I think I would like to... Yeah. No, actually, I go over the text, because we are in the 14th session. I have gone through all the text, because both the kandas. So what I will do, I will send the recordings of all the 12 kandas to you, where the text has been gone through and explained with the appropriate, the anecdotes, as well as the scriptural references. I will send that, and we have come up to the first kanda had 9 mantras, second kanda had 5 mantras, 14 mantras are through, and the 14 mantras I have tried to give a essence of it, because when we gave a little recap, and the next session also I will give a brief recap and then proceed, so the continuity is there. And the next kanda onwards, we will go by the third kanda, mantra after mantra. The earlier ones, I will send you the recordings. I think you will be able to... Anything else? Prabhuda, Nishaji, Madam, Narayanan sir? Yeah, tell me. Correct. Fantastic. I see, actually good. I am happy about it. See, of course, I have not, at least I hope, we have not forced her to conform to certain things, though we were also taking. In fact, one thing I know, Prabhu's children and my children and Shankar's children I know very closely. They are all independent type, because we have all moved from places to places. Each place had its own sort of a flavor, and they have all adopted and developed themselves. In fact, they have been teachers to us in so many times, telling us, why don't you be like that and all. So it is always an exchange. It was a pleasant, when the children grow and, they also get the knowledge and they impart the knowledge. It is like that. And that is great. I think we hopefully, we will go through this, and I am really happy. And this is the thing people have to follow. She has to follow to her son. It is not that I have done. So, yes, Padmanabhan sir. Anything Padmanabhan sir, Krishnan sir? Oh, thank you. Then Narayanan sir, if anything, then we can go through the Shanti Pata. Om, thank you. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vatitamastuma Vishpidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Krishnapnamastu. Savam Krishnamaya. Thank you, Shankar. Wonderful. I will send you the recordings. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you once again. Thank you, Prabhuda, Padmanabhan sir, Krishnan sir. Yeah, wait.
ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸುಂದರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಫ್ಲಾಟ್ ನಂಬರ್